Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Muscle Memory Podcast, episode 20. I am your host, Sean. Hope you guys had a great past month and a half, or however long I've been gone. This video will basically kind of go over why I've been gone and where we're going from here. But outside of that, it's going to be our regular program, talk about some wrestling, talk about some gaming, and yeah, let's get right into it. All right, so for starters, addressing the elephant in the room, why I've been gone for as long as I've been gone this time. As you can see, I'm in a whole different location. I did move. That's mainly the main reason. Other reason was, unemployment. But we're figuring that one out too. But main part, I moved. So I've been focusing more so on that and the getting a job aspect of things outside of doing this and doing the training and all that. So yeah, just, normal adult life stuff. And that kind of took priority over everything else because, I got to be able to, eat and drink water and all that stuff to continue making these for you guys. But I didn't want to leave, but it's what had to happen for me to continue to, do stuff. But yeah, that is that. I apologize for not saying anything, I guess, but I do plan on being back here basically all the time again. So hopefully we can go back to doing clips, full length videos, all that good stuff. But that's for future stuff, and let's focus on right now. So let's get into wrestling, and we can kick the podcast off properly. All right, so a lot has happened since I've been gone. I'll just kind of speed run the list, and then I'll start talking about what's going on right now. For starters, Naomi is the World Heavyweight Champion now. Seth Rollins is the women's. I said Seth Rollins is the woman. Seth Rollins is the men's World Heavyweight Champion now. He faked his knee injury at Saturday night's main event to throw everybody off, so where he cashed in at SummerSlam on CM Punk, who actually pulled off beating Gunther, who apparently was already injured going into that match, and that match was meant to write him off for a bit so he could go and recover, because apparently he needs surgery on something. Good looks to Gunther, and hopefully he comes back pretty soon. Hopefully it's not that bad. Cena is now babyface again, but I'm pretty sure it might all be a ruse for him to turn heel again. I thought the match between him and Cody was going to turn Cody heel, but Cody didn't turn heel. He just stayed babyface. Let's see. Drew McIntyre is now beefing with Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship. Brock Lesnar has returned, beefing with John Cena. Bronson Reed's been stealing Roman Reigns' shoes every week that they see him. They beat him up, take his shoes, and leave. I don't know why, but it's kind of weird. Los Garzas are the AAA Tag Team Champions. MJF is the CMLL Light World Heavyweight Champion. Mercedes Moné went and won 2 more belts somewhere else, so she's now 8 belts Moné. After she didn't lose any belts, she didn't lose any belts, but she did lose that match against Tony. So that's that. Athena won the Casino Battle Royale along with MJF winning his side of it. So MJF and Athena now equally get their own shots at the AEW Women's and Men's World Championships whenever they feel like. MJF has been kicked out of the Hurt Syndicate. I was confused as to why it happened so early, but apparently something backstage. It wasn't MVP that said it. It was apparently somebody else in the group that didn't want MJF there. I don't know who it was, but that's just what reports are saying. It's also been stated that the Hurt Syndicate has been repeatedly saying no to losing the belts to FTR because they want to put over the younger talent. Apparently, the names that got thrown out there were the Outrunners, and the Outrunners was the main name that I saw. Outrunners, Gates of Agony, and there was another team that I can't remember right now, but MVP's been advocating for the younger teams to get pushed, and I don't blame them. That's kind of how the business works. You got to push your younger talent. I'm not saying that you need to give them all the limelight because some of them might still be a little bit green, but in terms of building the future, you got to put them out there and give them that time, give them those reps. So I totally understand what MVP's saying on that. Let's see what else we got going on. Tiffany Stratton beat Jade Cargill, and I saw a little clip on Instagram of people saying that that match kind of showed basically that backstage doesn't think that Jade is on Rhea Ripley's level anymore. And honestly, I totally agree with that. I don't think she ever was on Rhea Ripley's level. I don't think she's going to be there anytime soon, just because she's still a little bit stiff in the ring and she's kind of still waiting on everybody the way that she was in AEW. And hopefully she can get that fixed. But, yeah, I don't know why it was in people's minds that she might be on the level of Rhea Ripley in terms of performing in the ring. That's just not happening right now. Lyra Valkyria can never challenge for the, what is it, Intercontinental Championship ever again, as long as Becky Lynch is champion. Bayley came back at SummerSlam, basically cost her the belt. I don't know if it was on purpose or on accident. The way that Bayley's trying to play it off, it was on accident. But we could be getting a two horsewoman little tag team power trip between Bayley and Becky, unless this is Bayley's like last thing she does before she leaves. I haven't heard anything about her renewing a contract or anything like that. Karrion Kross, his character might be over. I don't think they're gonna let him go after his match with Sami Zayn at SummerSlam. He did lose to Sami. And I don't know if it's gonna be the end of Karrion Kross in WWE or the end of that character of Karrion Kross, of the one that tries to get everybody to turn heel, because he just couldn't do it with Sami. But yeah, that's that. Let's see. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte are now the women's tag team champions. They beat Roxanne and Raquel for the tag team championships at SummerSlam. The White Six retained in the TLC match against Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, and the Profits. Candice LeRae messed up her hip pretty bad, but she's still walking, so that's pretty cool. They had the Hardys and the Dudleys in attendance. Obviously, they couldn't have Ed and Christian there because they're in the other company that no one's talking about, and they're not deep, and they're not in collaboration with each other like they are with TNA. So that's that. It would have been cool to see Ed and Christian there as well, but it is what it is. What else do we have going on? Logan Paul versus John Cena is confirmed for Clash at the Castle. I'm pretty sure we have Cody versus Drew at Clash at the Castle now. I don't really know anything else about Clash at the Castle right now, but I do feel like that we keep sending Drew over there just to lose. But if this is a way to send Cody out so he can go film for Street Fighter, then I'm totally cool with Drew winning the belt. I've been waiting for Drew to win the belt for a long time. I hope Drew does win the belt for once in his home country for once, because they've kind of hoed him for the last like 2-3 years that he's been over there, and it hasn't really been sitting right with me. The first time it happened, I wasn't mad because it was Roman, and I didn't want anybody to beat him, but it is what it is. And every time since then, he's just been getting backdoored. But, you know, that's just how it is. But, yeah. Hopefully we can see Drew win the big one in his home country for once. I don't know if they're trying to keep Ron Killings as a character or not, but when he saw John Cena, it looked like he was still Truth again. So I don't know if they kind of just like agreed to those terms and shut it down entirely or what, but it looks like it's just Ron Killings. I don't know what's going on with that. What else do we have going on? Trying to think. It's been a lot of wrestling that's happened since I've been gone. Bianca Belair has confirmed why she hasn't actually come back to wrestling. It's because her finger has not fully been able to bend, and when wrestling, obviously she jammed it at WrestleMania, which broke it. And the way that she broke it, she has to be able to bend it to be able to come back. She has not been able to do that, so obviously she's not going to come back in the ring and risk her finger like that. I think that's everything that I can think of. I can't think of anything else right now in terms of wrestling. Let's see. What else we got? What else we got? What else we got? I don't. Okay, so I guess I'll just start to open and start talking more about the stuff that I've already mentioned. I'll start off with Logan versus John. Pretty sure John's going over. I don't really, I don't care for the match, but I know that they're both good in the ring, so I know it'll be a good match. I know Cena will get a good match from Logan, and Logan will just do what he does, which is go in there and show out. Because like, as much as I don't like Logan as a person, Logan the wrestler is really great at what he does. So at the end of the day, you got to give him his props. Like him or hate him, he's great at wrestling, and you can't take that away from him. So him versus Cena, more than likely going to be a good match. Just ready to see Cena put him down, so Logan can get off TV for a little bit. Let's see, what a match was I talking about? Oh, Brock. Brock coming back, I saw stir up a lot of controversy online, mainly because of the lawsuit with Vince. Apparently, it was a really, really big Nick Khan decision, because Nick Khan's policy is unless it's a criminal lawsuit, which that lawsuit is not, you're good to come back. You have the green light. And Brock Lesnar was not criminally convicted. He wasn't criminally charged. The case is a civil case, and I'm pretty sure Brock's name was cleared in that case anyway. So yeah, Brock coming back was a majority Nick Khan thing, and yeah, I don't know who Brock's gonna go after first in terms of having a match. I don't know if he's gonna pull the Clash of the Castle and beat John up again, and that leads up to another match somewhere down the line. Speaking of Cross, bringing Cross back into the thing, everybody was saying that we want Brock at the post show, and Triple H basically like cut him out by saying, "You wanted Brock, you got him," and people were like, "That's not what we said. We said we want Cross." So I don't know again if this is goodbye to Karrion Kross in WWE or just goodbye to his character, but that one kind of sounds like they're kind of throwing him out. Either that or Triple H literally just can't hear. But pretty sure he heard what they said very well. Yeah. For wrestling as a whole, I feel like we kind of need to draft, honestly, to save some of the divisions and to bring some of the to like just to spice things up a little bit. I think we need to go ahead and have a draft. That way, like, people don't show up on every show and it's identifiable, who goes where and how stuff works and all that. Like, yeah, everybody like still has their shows and all that good stuff. But most of the time, people will still show up whenever they feel like. So, me personally, I do another brand split half of the tag teams on SmackDown, send them to Raw, and then the other half that are on Raw, send those to SmackDown, so the Raw teams can get some of the SmackDown rub, and the SmackDown people that are already really good at what they do can bring the Raw people up on Raw, and they'll get some of that primetime light being on Netflix. So, in my opinion, it would work for everybody. It's just something that would, they'd have to actually be willing to do, instead of saying, okay, cool, we're gonna have a draft and we're gonna split up most of the teams and kill the tag team division. That's why I would hate to see that. I would hope they don't do that. Oh man, excuse me. I think Tiffany needs to stay on SmackDown. Naomi needs to stay on Raw. I feel like with drafts, I feel like the champions should stay where they are. I feel like champions should always stay where they are when it comes down to drafts, unless you're gonna switch to WWE and World Heavyweight Championships again, and have the World Heavy on SmackDown and the WWE on Raw. If that's the case, then cool. I have no issue with that. I'm more used to seeing the WWE Championship on Raw anyways. What I grew up with is what I'm used to seeing. I have no issue with it being on SmackDown now, but I'm used to seeing the WWE Championship on Raw and the World Heavyweight Championship on SmackDown. This is how I've always been with that. And if that's the case with how they do a draft, then I have no issue with that. I feel like when Gunther comes back, he needs to go to SmackDown. He'll have a whole new set of people to face over there, and he can basically win another World Championship over there if they really, really feel like. I don't think he needs to anytime soon. I don't think Gunther really needs to come back until late November towards the end of John Cena's tour. Maybe so Gunther can be one of his last matches, if not his final match. Send away John Cena, and then send him on to win the Royal Rumble, to where he can then go and challenge for a World Championship and redeem his loss this year at WrestleMania next year, and hopefully win the belt off of somebody that's actually a viable champion. I don't know who would be champion at that point, but I don't think that he would be taking a strap off of Seth, just because I feel like we're building to Braun versus Seth. If not Braun versus Seth, then we're building to Punk versus Seth. Hopefully. It's either Braun or Seth. Well, it's either Braun or Punk that are going to be challenging Punk for Seth for that World Championship at WrestleMania. Since Jey Uso has lost the World Championship, he's kind of still been stuck in the same spot of teaming with Roman and just doing his Yeet thing every time. Me personally, I would much rather see Jey Uso back in a team with his brother, and them being a bit more serious. They can still do the Yeets and all that, just a tad bit more serious and focus on actually winning matches than doing the mid-match breaks of doing the Yeets. Don't get me wrong, it's very funny. The Yeet is very over with the crowd, but if we want to get Jey Uso going, I feel like we should put him back with his brother and give them some more tag team stuff. It'll bring a lot more eyes to the tag team division again, because you have one of the greatest tag teams in WWE history back together again. And if they're going to keep them on Raw, if they're going to keep Jey on Raw and bring Jimmy to SmackDown, then, or bring Jimmy to Raw with Jey, then we now have the possibility of getting another really good New Day versus Usos match, which I'm never going to say no to, because the Usos and the New Day put on bangers whenever they're in the ring together. Let's see. Oh man. I don't know, man. It's been a minute since I've done this, so there's a decent bit to talk about. I'll probably talk about some more of it in the next episode, but this episode is kind of just getting myself back used to, being in front of a camera and talking again. It's been a minute since I've done it personally and actually put out a podcast for you guys. So, yeah. That, and I woke up probably about 20 minutes ago. So, I'm not really all the way here, but I really, 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 really wanted to get this episode out for you guys. So, that's what I'm doing. But let's switch over into the gaming aspects of things. I've been hearing a lot about Rematch. Haven't touched it at all, but I've heard it's a really good game. It's really fun. It's, for those who don't know, Rematch is I believe 4-on-4 soccer game. It's online, free to play, obviously, but you only control one player on the team. That's yourself. Everybody else plays them, and you kind of have to just work together as a team. I'm pretty sure this one of the games, like, for you to be really, really good, it would be premier for you to have a full team with you and have them all partied up, but most people can't do that. So you just have to get really good on your own with just working with your team and all that. You can't really be a ball hog in that, because you can't just hold the ball and then pass to a teammate, which is basically yourself. You have to pass out to somebody who's an actual player. So just, be smart about it. The new Fortnite season is pretty cool in my opinion. It's Halo and Power Rangers themed. So we have some Spartans in there. We don't have Chief in the Battle Pass because we already have Chief. I don't know if they're gonna bring Noble Six or anything like that, or the Arbiter or anything related to it like that on the outside. But we do have some Spartans, as well as Tommy, the green and white Power Ranger from Mighty Morphin, though he is the final skin in the Battle Pass. And then in the item shop, we have all the other color Power Rangers. So your red, blue, yellow, black, and pink. The OG Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So that's pretty cool to see. Uh, they got a couple new weapons in there that I'm not a big fan of. They have a minigun, which I am a fan of. And then they have this new shotgun called the Sweeper Shotgun and the Wrecker Revolver that uses shotgun shells. I'm not really a fan of the revolver, but the Sweeper Shotgun is really, really fun to use, especially when you get the mythics and all that. I feel this season it's a bit more easy to kill people with the medallions, which I don't have an issue with because now it makes them feel like, yeah, they're still human and they can still die. Whereas last season, since it was superhero themed, everybody was a bit kind of OP when they had that kind of stuff. There was one where you literally like disappeared when you were running around and stuff. So it was a bit iffy, but it was still fun to play with. It just sucked to play against. They've also gotten rid of the Superman thing because obviously that was just for that season. Which honestly, I'm glad because Superman was kind of busted unless you had weapons that could like get rid of him or unless you like teamed him. Because most of the time you're playing solo and somebody picks up Superman, he's there for a good minute unless someone like shoots him down immediately and that person just doesn't know what they're doing. So as a whole, I have no issues with the season currently. I just have to get used to playing again because, like I said, it's been a minute. I finally started playing Sparking Zero after all this time, and I will say that I don't really get why everybody was dogging on the game at first when it first came out, but I can't really say anything about it because I've been playing it not since it came out, but like literally for like a week or so, and I've been enjoying it. Probably just because I'm a really big Dragon Ball fan, and I've been looking to play a game that has a good Broly for a good minute now. After Fighters, honestly, I love playing Fighters, but me playing, Z Broly, which is my favorite version of Broly, by the way, I like him more than Super Broly. I feel like it's a better adaptation of him, and he's a bit more brutal as a character, so I like that about him. Yeah, all in all, I just like the way that the sparking version of him plays over Fighters, because I feel like Fighters he's a bit stiff, but I just like being able to transform and all that good stuff and have a proper Budokai Tenkaichi game again. Because this is the Tenkaichi 4 that everybody was asking for, and for some reason it got hate after a while. Probably because people were saying that some people are like overpowered. From what I'm seeing, really anybody in that game can be a little bit busted if you know how to play them. So just skill gap, honestly. I've been playing the game on Super. I've been having a good time, and yeah, when I start playing online finally, then maybe I'll see what people are saying. But until then, I've been having a good time with that game, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to continue having a good time with that game as well. But I'm pretty sure that's all I have in terms of gaming. In terms of fitness, I am doing my best to get some more gym content for you guys going. I'm probably going to start posting on the fitness YouTube again sometime within the next week or so. But I'm not going to make any promises on that just because I've been prioritizing the podcast channel and just making content as a whole again. So if I don't post within the next week, just know that I'm probably making another podcast episode or I'm doing some editing for something else that's going to go on the personal page. But that's basically all I have in terms of stuff that I've been doing. So yeah, we're back. We're back, and hopefully we aren't going anywhere anytime soon. I don't like leaving for extended amounts of time because I genuinely love doing this. I love sitting down in front of this camera and talking to you guys every week. So I have missed doing that. And again, I apologize for leaving for as long as I did, but we are back and we're only going up from here. So That being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Muscle Memory, episode 20. I have been your host, Sean. You have been you. I appreciate you so much for coming out and sticking with me through this time. I'll see you guys next week. You guys stay blessed.